This week on HBO's Inside the NFL. We're on the road in Washington, D.C. to visit the most surprising team in the NFL, the 7-2 Redskins. Joining us will be running back Terry Allen, wide receiver Henry Ellard, cornerback Darrell Green, and head coach Norv Turner. We look at starting quarterback Gus Frerotte, who faced greater odds than a third-party candidate, and a look back at another Redskins quarterback who is still overcoming obstacles, Billy Kilmer. And now, from our nation's capital, the show the pros watch, Inside the NFL, with your hosts, Len Dawson, Nick Buoniconti, Cris Collinsworth, and Jerry Glanville.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's show. Yes, indeed, we are in the nation's capital. To be more specific, to our right, the reflecting pool. In front of us, we got the Lincoln Memorial. Behind us, the Washington Monument and the Capitol. Very beautiful setting. And this is a very exciting place to be this week. On Tuesday, Bill Clinton was reelected President of the United States. But Washingtonians, they're not surprised with that. They are surprised about their football team, though. In the last 2 years, a total of 9 victories. Right now, they're 7-2, Nick. Tied for first place in the NFC East, but they lost to Buffalo, and you got to go out and talk to them.
Yeah, now, if you think Dole and Kemp are in a bad mood, way to have to go out and talk to Norv Turner and the players. But, you know, Mr. Sunshine, he'll bring a lot of that to them when I go out there.
Please. You know, but a week ago, I was touting this Redskins team as having arrived. I thought they were there with Dallas and San Francisco and Green Bay. But after the way the Buffalo Bills ran over this team, 266 yards they allowed on the ground, and now in retrospect, you look back at their schedule, the only impressive win they've had so far was at New England.
But you can't blame them for the schedule. What you have to do with the schedule is play the next team, and they've been taking care of business for the most part this year. I picked up a media guide, and I started looking at their players, looking at their personnel. They have the pieces, and they're going to be good enough. They're going to win a playoff game this year.
You know, Jerry, Jerry, I think they built their team, we all know, around the offensive line and Terry Allen, the running back. Terry Allen could be the most valuable player in this league if he stays healthy. And the other thing, again, of course, is their defense. Sean Gilbert came over, and he really elevated the play of that group. But my question is Gus Frerotte. Can he beat a quarterback that can take this team if they're down by 14 points? He could not do it last week against Buffalo. And on the schedule, they have the Eagles, Dallas twice, and San Francisco. Man, I'm from Missouri. They're going to have to show me.
You're not from Missouri. We would not let you in Missouri, I'll tell you that. I look at this team, it reminds me of the Dallas Cowboys when Jimmy Johnson took over. In the first year, won just one game. By the third year, they were 11-5. The Redskins have an opportunity to match that. They're a good team now, but I think they'll be a better team next year because they have the lowest payroll in the National Football League, meaning they have money under that salary cap to go out and improve their team. Well, the only problem Washington has had all year, just like the Washington elected officials, is stopping the Bills from coming in. Last Sunday, the Redskins showed a deficit.
What would you rather be than right here, right now? Yeah, baby, the Bills. We scared you, Alan. We ain't scared because we got Bruce, man. Bad things, man. Bad things. All day. All day.
The inept Bills offense righted itself against the Redskins by running up nearly 500 yards, including 100-yard days from running backs Derek Holmes and Thurman Thomas.
The 4, the 3, the 2, the 1, and he's in for the touchdown!
Quarterback Jim Kelly, who had looked as tired and old as Bob Dole, was rejuvenated and ready to whistle-stop his Bills through the '96 campaign.
Down the left sideline for Reed, and he's got it. Andre Reed, oh boy.
Let's go, Jim!
Second and goal, great ahead on the play. Driving down there for the touchdown. Crowd is going crazy here. 30-7. And he threw the ball.
Threw the ball up. How's that for arm strength?
They don't want to block anymore. They don't want to play anymore. Just stay with it. Make sure that they don't play. Playing hard.
Sledgehammer Derek Holmes pounded for 3 touchdowns.
Throw, and he drives down to the goal line and in for the touchdown. Oh.
Orchard Park was Heartbreak Hotel for the Redskins and Graceland for the Bills.
We're on our way to New Orleans. I'll see you there.
It's unlikely either the Cardinals or Giants would be mistaken for NFL heavyweights, but during their match in the Meadowlands, both teams delivered knockout punches.
He's got time now. He's hit and brought down by Simeon Rice, and Dave Brown is slow getting up.
Boy, I mean, he whacked him pretty good just as he...
In the first quarter, each starting quarterback, the Giants' Dave Brown and the Cards' Kent Graham, went down for the count.
So Boomer Esiason will come in at quarterback. So the former Giant goes out, the former Jet comes in.
The 13-year vet went toe-to-toe with untested novice Danny Cannell, and when the final bell had rung, it was the rookie who won out.
Cannell will throw. He rolls to his right, over the middle for Lewis, completed to 10, to the 5, touchdown Thomas Lewis.
And what an arm. He threw that one on the run, and it was on a line.
Hit him in stride.
The resurgent Giants have come off the canvas to win 4 of their last 6. Next on their fight card is Carolina, who last week had the dubious distinction of becoming the Atlanta Falcons' first victim of the season.
Anderson runs left side. Anderson takes it out to the corner. 25, 20. Has some blocking. 10, 5. Jamal Anderson. Touchdown!
32 yards on the draw play for Jamal Anderson. His 4th touchdown of the season.
Jamal Anderson's career-high 109 yards helped June Jones avoid tying the worst start in franchise history.
Falcons leading 13-10. Hebert throws left. Complete to Burton at the 10. At the 5. Burton dives for the touchdown.
Great block by Roman Fortin on Sam Mills. He cut Sam Mills' feet right out from under him, allowed JJ to get into the end zone.
The bird had landed. The Falcons have finally won a game.
Well, we just saw the White House, and our first guest is the head coach of the Washington Redskins. We're here at Redskin Park. It's Norv Turner. I don't think, Norv, that you'll be moving anytime soon to the White House, but the way you're coaching this team, you could be elected president here in Washington.
Well, we've been on a little bit of a roll, and we've been going good, and people have been positive. But just like politics, I know that can change real fast.
I want to talk about your building schedule. The first year you won 3 ball games. Last year you won 6 ball games, and now you're 7-2. Does this sort of remind you something of the building that took place in Dallas when you were down there?
Well, I think there's some similarities. You know, we're doing it with a lot of young players. I think that the biggest difference is we're still depending on some very seasoned old veterans to bring our young guys along. In Dallas, we were doing it with almost exclusively young players.
I looked at the Buffalo ball game, and you guys really got manhandled in that game. Now, is this an aberration, and can this team really come back?
Well, we hope it's an aberration, and that's our thoughts. You know, what we've done to win 7 games in a row, we played the game well as an entire team. We were leading the NFL in fewest turnovers. We're running the ball real well, and we've been playing good defense, especially inside the 20. All those things went out the window on Sunday night. We turned the ball over, we got away from the run, and we let Buffalo, just as you said, manhandle us.
Well, I look at your offensive line as terrific, and when a running game goes well, so go the Redskins, and the defense plays well, the Redskins do well. But what happens if you get behind by a couple touchdowns like you did last week against Buffalo? Is Gus Frerotte the type of quarterback that can bring you back and win a game?
There's no question in my mind he can. You know, in the Buffalo game, the way they were moving offensively, I'm not sure we could have come back. But a year ago, when Gus was playing early in the season, we actually came from behind in 4 different games to tie the game late in the fourth quarter, a couple times being down by as much as 10 points. You know, the emphasis goes to Terry Allen and our offensive line, and I like that. But we've been making plays in the passing game. We're actually leading the NFL in average per pass attempt, or we're going into the Buffalo game. Henry Ellard has a 20-yard average per attempt, so we're making enough plays in the passing game to give us balance.
I look at your schedule. Now you're 7-2, but you have Dallas twice, you have the Eagles, and you have San Francisco. What can you really expect out of your ball club going into that type of a schedule?
Well, we know we have an extremely difficult schedule, and you left out the most important game. We have Arizona this Sunday, and Arizona, I know people want to say, hey, well, you'll beat them. We've got to get ready and get back on the right path. If we can find a way to beat Arizona, then we find a way to get ready for those other games down in our schedule.
Thanks, Norman. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Well, the only 2 teams that beat Washington so far this year have been Buffalo and Philadelphia. They play each other this Sunday, and for that pick, let's go back to Lenny.
Nick, thank you very much. Let's talk about this Buffalo-Philadelphia game. Both teams coming off their best effort of the season. And for Buffalo, Jerry, last week against the Redskins, 2 backs rushed for over 100 yards. Can they do it against the Eagles?
Well, if it was the beginning of the year, I'd say yes, because the Eagles lost 2 outstanding linebackers to free agency, and they've replaced them, of all things, with Ray Farmer, a rookie strong safety from Duke. And the other linebacker is James Willis, who had a knee injury at Green Bay and got cut. But these 2 young guys have improved so much, I'm going to take the Eagles to stop them, and they're going to win the football game.
I think the Buffalo Bills are going to win, and it's because of Jim Kelly. He's had some bad games, but he came back after his first pass was dropped. 19 to the next 22, he completed. I'll show you the type of competitor this guy is. With all the injuries he's had, he ran 4 quarterback sneaks, 1 for a 4-yard touchdown. I didn't even know he could run 4 yards. I like Buffalo.
I'll tell you why you're wrong. Because of the play of this Philadelphia offensive line at the beginning of the season, they were terrible. But last week against the Dallas Cowboys, blew open big holes for Ricky Watters. The Cowboys never did get the Ty Detmer. At the beginning of the season, going against Bruce Smith and Bryce Pop and Ted Washington would have been a mismatch for Philadelphia, but right now they're good enough. I like the Eagles.
They're wrong, because I'll tell you why. Before Nick left for Redskin Park, he picked Philadelphia to win.
I'm changing mine. I'm changing mine.
Well, Nick says he thinks that the secondary for Philadelphia are really playing well, and he thinks they are a complete football team. Well, Philadelphia certainly played that way last week against Dallas.
The Eagles are real. Cowboys make it hard every year, don't struggle every year. But I'm looking sexy, as you can see.
We'll go white kick. We'll go white. Okay, we'll go white. Squeeze his ass, look for the left. 1, 2, 3, kick it.
And this kick will go to Herschel Walker.
Butt kicking was central to everyone's game plan, but it was the Cowboys who registered the game's first good boot.
To the 40, has Walker to the 50. He may score. To the 30, to the 20, 15, 10, to the 5, out of bounds.
Herschel Walker's 86-yard sprint with the opening kickoff set up an Emmitt Smith touchdown and the quick 7-0 lead.
Motion, Kevin Turner. The give goes to Waters up the middle. He's got a touchdown. Rookie Waters up the middle gets in.
Tied at 7, Dallas turned their attention to Philadelphia's presumed weak link, quarterback Ty Detmer. 5 weeks earlier on Monday Night Football, a Darren Woodson blitz knocked Detmer silly and ensured a Cowboy win. Last Sunday, the strategy backfired as Detmer stepped up and launched a duck that allowed Philly to seize control of the contest.
He is letting it go, and it is caught at the 1-yard line and being pushed out of bounds, as Mark say. What a pass. Detmer just got it off.
Double wing right, A right. Quarterback draw 0. Protect the football 1-4. Here we go now.
First and goal from the 6. Detmer on a quarterback draw is in for the touchdown. Ty Detmer on a quarterback draw runs in for the touchdown. Great call.
I was moving so slow I had time to put moves on.
But world champions die hard. Trailing by 8, Dallas drove 84 yards in 13 plays, pulling within 2 on Emmitt Smith's second touchdown. Then tying the game at 21 with a 2-point conversion.
I love you, man. We're going to go back and get some more. We're going to get some more.
Indeed, Dallas would need more. 3 points to tie or a touchdown to win in the game's closing seconds.
Yorkson in motion. Aikman throws the fade to Michael Irvin. It's caught, complete at the 3. Oh, what a catch. 19 yards. Michael Irvin makes a huge play.
That's what I'm talking about, Mike. Let's do that. Let's go.
Third and goal. Everyone in tight. I'll bet you he throws it here. Aikman is back. He is looking. He throws into the end zone. Intercepted! Intercepted! Coming up with the interception, running along the far sideline, cutting to the center of the field. Eagles have the football. Troy Vincent. Vincent running down the sideline. The Eagles win. The Eagles win. The Eagles win.
Hey, man, I can tell you guys how proud I am of everybody in this room. We talked about making a commitment. A commitment to get it done today. And everybody in this room made that commitment. And I'm proud of you guys, but we got a long ways to go, man. Long ways to go. We're going to keep things in perspective, man. It's a huge win for us. True enough. But we got another one next week, man. And make sure that when we talk about the Dallas Cowboys, we're upbeat and positive about everything, man. They're a damn good football team. And they're a team we'll see again. But again, guys, I'm proud of you. Hey, man, let's just enjoy it. But we got to get ready to go back to work next week.
In paving a path to the Hall of Fame, Jerry Rice is leaving no milestone unturned. Last Sunday night, Rice grabbed his 1,000th career reception, and on number 999, the receiver who's in a class all by himself found himself in the end zone all by himself.
Throws for the end zone all alone. Jerry Rice, touchdown 49ers. He was so alone, he was like there's nobody in the building tonight.
While the Saints roster is short on NFL legends, Michael Haynes did come up with a Canton-caliber catch in the fourth quarter.
Sideline for Haynes, and he has made the catch. How did he do it? How did he do it?
But the Saints, who ranked dead last in takeaway-giveaway ratio, turned over the ball 3 times in the second half. Ultimately, the 49ers, who are among the league's most opportunistic teams, demonstrated that despite the familiar refrain of another game, another Rice receiving record, it is defense that has San Francisco 2 games up in the NFC West. Jimmy Johnson was curious if Bill Parcells maintains his hairstyle with the kind of shampoo that tingles. And later, Jimmy, who won't be seen scratching his head in Miami, was clawing at his scalp in New England as the Dolphins relinquished a 17-14 third-quarter lead. New England, the AFC's highest-scoring team, ran off 28 unanswered points behind number 28, Curtis Martin, and Drew Bledsoe, who threw for 419 yards and 3 touchdowns.
And New England back to pass. Bledsoe blitzes on, throws to Coates. He got away. He's to the 30, to the 40. Watch out! They're trying to run him down, but Shane Burton can't catch him. He's down to the 20, to the 15, 10, touchdown. Oh my goodness!
Oh my God!
Parcells' Patriots are feeling the tingling sensation that comes from owning a share of first place in the AFC East.
Coming up on Inside the NFL.
Highlights of a Houston-Seattle thriller at the Kingdome. And a look back at former Redskins quarterback Billy Kilmer.
As Inside the NFL's roadshow continues from Washington, D.C.
As long as I could ever remember, even playing in this league, if you were rooting for Washington, you were rooting for the Hogs. And our 2 guests, certainly every week, they root for the Hogs. One is Terry Allen, the running back for the Washington Redskins. He depends on them to open the holes. And Henry Ellert, block for Gus Frerotte so you can get the football. Henry, you're 35 years old, but yet you lead the league in yards per reception with 20. What kind of youth pills do you take?
Oh, I don't know, but just hard off-season workouts has been my thing, and then been blessed with health. I think it's really helped me out throughout my 14 years.
Has Gus Frerotte been a type of quarterback that you expected when you first came to training camp here?
Yes, he was, because I watched him as he came in as a rookie and just sat back and watched the things that he did against, you know, the I guess, the opponent's squad. And just watching him, he just had the poise in the pocket, and it's just a matter of watching him in a game situation, seeing if he carried over from practice to a game, and he did that.
Terry, the running game, it seems like the Redskin offense is really dependent on that. If they shut it down like Buffalo did, you guys have trouble winning. Can Gus Frerotte carry you guys when the running game gets shut down?
He definitely can. If he's given opportunities to throw the ball and we give him time, he's a quarterback that can win a game for us.
Yeah, but last week against Buffalo, he did not do that, and you guys lost pretty easily.
We didn't protect him very well. There was times when guys got to him and hit him and caused us to have turnovers, and if we do that, then we're not going to win the game.
Henry, I look at the red zone. You guys are down in that red zone 23 times this year, and you do something that other teams don't do. You score touchdowns. You have 17 touchdowns and 6 field goals. What makes you guys so good down there?
Repetition. We've been practicing it over and over again the last 2 years, and it's finally starting to pay off for us.
Repetition meaning in practice, or?
Oh yeah, practice, just doing it over and over again. We hear red zone, it's like, oh man, here we go again, but it's starting to really pay off for us.
Terry, you guys so far, I think, have had a pretty easy schedule. But now, as I look down the road, you have Dallas twice, you have Philadelphia, and you have San Francisco. You guys think you can get to the playoffs?
We can get to the playoffs. We've got to go out and play our style of football. We can't fall into a rut like we did last week and get behind. As long as we can go out and play our type of ball, there's nobody on our schedule we can't beat.
Henry, being a veteran receiver, I look at Michael Westbrook. It seems to me like he's having trouble adapting to the league. Is he tough enough as a receiver to play in this league?
Oh, yes, he is. Physically, I mean, he's definitely tough enough, big as he is and fast as he is. And he's just fallen on some bad luck with his knee injury. You know, he hurt it last year, and again, he hurt it again this year. We just got to get him going and get him some momentum. And once he gets into a groove, he'll be hard to stop.
Terry, I want to ask you about, you've scored 15 touchdowns so far this year. You're on course to break Emmitt Smith's record of 25 touchdowns in a year. Is this a goal that you set out to do?
Well, originally it wasn't, but it's something that's obtainable now, and we just got to go out and continue to put the points up in the red zone.
Well, you do that very well, both of you guys. Thanks for being on the show, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Back to you, Lenny.
Norv Turner certainly calls plenty of plays for Terry Allen and Henry Ellard, but the key to the Redskins is their quarterback, Gus Frerotte. He has become the bipartisan choice of Washington to lead the team. And in this week's cover story, we find him getting help from an elder statesman, the one-time Redskin great Hall of Famer, Sonny Jurgensen.
The rise of athletic stardom, it doesn't always come as we envision it, fast, furious, and everlasting. Sometimes it's a wisp, gone in a flash, or other times it's simply unattainable. And when we finally do get it, we're never quite sure what to do with it.
Yes, fame is a curious thing. The elevation from anonymity to celebrity is not always meteoric. Sometimes it's a purposeful journey marked by time, by patience, by a great deal of humility, which is a wonderful way of describing the NFL life so far of the Redskins' surprising young quarterback, Gus Frerotte.
I don't want ever to be that big star, and sometimes certain things, the media or whatever, can put you up there in that status, but that's just not me. I'd rather just, you know, go out and mingle with the crowd and be the old normal Joe.
In 1994, Frerotte was the 197th pick, lost in obscurity behind the hype of Washington's #1 pick, Heath Shuler, and his $19 million contract.
My advice is to go long and never come back.
Underrated Gus Frerotte defied the odds, surprising everyone, including himself.
It's like, okay, you're starting, you know, and you're like, what? What's going to happen? And, you know, you just get your shot. You go through practice all week, and you're nervous, and practice even, and trying to complete every pass, you know, trying to do things perfect.
Every day, he kept doing things to make people notice. Redskin living legend Sonny Jurgensen was one of those people, and now the Hall of Famer and his heir to the Washington quarterback throne have formed a special bond.
He was a young man that wasn't afraid to fail. He would throw a pick, and it's very easy for a young quarterback to go back and just sit on the ball then, not trying to make mistakes. I'm going to take the little dunk because I don't want to have another pick. But he'd come right back downfield and throw the ball. You like that in a young quarterback.
All young quarterbacks in this league need to understand that football better be important to you. I'm not sure football is important to every quarterback in this league. But it's important to Sonny. It's important, obviously, to Gus.
I can talk to Sonny about anything, and he gives me his experience. When those things happen to him, he lets me know what he did or what he knows I should do in those situations to make me a better player.
And now that he is a better player, there are some advantages, like becoming a part of one of his great childhood fascinations.
Just to see yourself on a card and say, wow, somebody might like this card, you know, somebody might actually want this card besides myself or my father. And it was so neat to be on a card. That hit me, and I was like, wow, that means kind of like, to me, that means you're in the NFL, you know, and that was really special.
As the young team and QB continue to grow, they're trying to establish their own traditions, like a lavish Monday night dinner for the offense celebrating every victory.
Let's get some kind of tradition rolling here. You know, let's do something where guys can have a lot of fun and be together and, you know, make it kind of a unity thing. It's incredible. You know, guys love it, and for me, it gives me that feeling of everybody's together. Everybody wants to be in this boat together.
But that Monday night routine hit a bump last week with a blowout loss to Buffalo.
Last game, a few guys weren't ready to play. You know, and that's up to me to find those guys and pull them out of the crowd and say, look, get your act together, let's go. If you're not the one saying, this is my team, I'm going to take control, I'm going to be a leader, it'll never happen. I have to be the voice of the team.
That voice has led Washington to the front of the NFL pack, but the question remains, can they stay there? And with all his newfound success, the other question is, can Frerotte remain just plain Gus?
We'll be talking more about Gus Frerotte and his team's matchup this week against Arizona later on in the program. But I'd like your thoughts on the game that used to be the preview of the NFC Championship game, Dallas at San Francisco.
Lenny, the 49ers have got to find a way to get the ball back in the hands of Jerry Rice. Only one touchdown pass from Steve Young this entire season. Last week, the Philadelphia Eagles, working against Dallas, put Irving Fryer in the slot, let him work the middle of the field against the linebackers and the safeties, and I think you're going to see the 49ers use that same strategy.
And you know, when you talk about the Dallas 49er game, everybody talks about the Cowboys secondary, Deion Sanders in the corners. They play off and they're peeking in. What's gone on unnoticed, the best secondary switched over to the 49ers. Everybody knew about their safeties, but their two corners, Tyrone Drakeford and Marquez Pope, full press, bump and run, pushing, shoving them around, and they're going to win because the 49ers are the best secondary.
You're saying they're better than Dallas's corners?
The secondary's better in San Francisco.
And he's never wrong.
Never.
Yeah.
I think the Cowboys are happy to leave town. I'll tell you why. The fans are all over them for losing that game to Philadelphia, especially Troy Aikman. The end of the game, he threw that interception that was the difference. I think Troy's not going to have to apologize for anybody this week because they're going to win.
And it's desperation time for the Dallas Cowboys. The 49ers have a comfortable lead in the West, and the Cowboys playing catch-up in the East. I like Dallas here.
Well, you know, the Cowboys and 49ers used to be above other teams in the league. Well, they're still two of the best, but others, including Bill Cowher's squad in Pittsburgh, are catching up quickly.
It was a perfect day for revenge at Three Rivers Stadium, and with the prospect of facing his former Ram teammates, who could blame Jerome Bettis for feeling a little giddy?
Open up the spout all day. Just pour it big time. Let's go.
Bettis opened up the floodgates by rushing for 129 yards and a pair of touchdowns.
To a hole, he's on a roll. He's at the 45, the 40, the 35, the 30, the 25, the 20. The bus is going express. 50 yards for that Steeler touchdown. How about that? The give is to the bus, and the bus walks into the end zone for that Steeler touchdown.
The Steelers' defense met little resistance in shutting down the Rams' attack, as St. Louis showed why their offense is the worst in the NFL. The Steelers easily turned 2 turnovers into 2 touchdowns.
Slash is going to take the quarterback draw and walk into the end zone for that Steeler touchdown.
Filling in for an injured Mike Tomczak, Cordell Stewart continued the Pittsburgh onslaught with his second touchdown. And just in case the Rams thought they were safe on special teams.
And with the football. Out across the 10, the 15 is Pee Wee at the 20, 25, 30. Open field at the 40. Here comes Eric Pigram. One man to beat. Here he comes breathing up his back. He cuts inside, and he's going the other way to the left. 20, 15, 10. Eric Pigram goes all the way for that Steeler touchdown.
What's wrong? Are you just tired? Are you just tired?
You got a number, he don't have his fifth gear yet.
Well, get yourself in shape and you won't have this problem.
Once Eric Pigram caught his breath, he ran 17 more yards for a touchdown that would cap the blowout and prove there is no let-up in Bill Cowher's Steelers.
All right, guys, I'll tell you what. That was a great, complete game. And I'll tell you what. It's good. Enjoy it. Next week, we go back to our division, Cincinnati. And what I want to do is make sure we keep that in mind, and I'll see you guys 9 o'clock Wednesday.
Wait a minute. Coach, we want to award you the game ball for your 50th win.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, appreciate it. Thanks, man. Thanks, guys.
New Cincinnati head coach Bruce Coslett, recently hired to replace Dave Shula, is trying to mold the Bengals into a solid AFC contender. But in the first half of Sunday's game in Baltimore, it was the Ravens that bent Coslett's team. The Cincinnati secondary wreaked similar havoc on the Ravens, but eventually Baltimore quarterback Vinny Testaverde found his mark, throwing a pair of touchdown passes, one to a wide-open Michael Jackson.
Sets up, throwing in the end zone. Jackson's wide open. Touchdown, Ravens.
After spotting him an 18-point lead, the Bengals bested Testaverde, knocking him from his perch as the conference's leading passer by snaring 4 interceptions for an AFC high of 20 picks. The turnovers set the stage for a second-half comeback.
There'll be a slot on the right. Blake back to throw. Runs it up the middle and runs it into the end zone. Jim Blake.
21-3 at the half, and they came back to tie it up.
The Bengals controlled the ball for over 22 minutes in the second half, and Blake's blend of passing and running put Cincinnati in position to score their biggest come-from-behind road victory in franchise history.
They get the first down, clock still running, and with 3 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Lee Johnson calls high snap, but Johnson gets it.
Yes!
Helfrey kicks
yes!
Up and good, and the Bengals win it. And Bruce Coslett with a nice 2-game winning streak going for his football team.
With 2 straight late-game triumphs under Coslett, the future is suddenly bright for Cincinnati. Meanwhile, in Chicago, there would be no tomorrow for linebacker Brian Cox, who was playing in his final game of the season before thumb surgery. Maybe Cox should have packed it in a week early, as his efforts to stay with tight end Dave Moore were unsuccessful.
For the first time in 2 years, David, the Bucs have a lead on Chicago.
That lead withered away thanks to the punishing running of Raymond Harris, who gained 118 tough yards, and followed fullback Mike Fulkerson's block for the game-winning score.
And the give Raymond into the middle of the line, and a touchdown!
After receiving an icy reception in Chicago, the Buccaneers hope to thaw out this week versus the Raiders, who are looking to cremate AFC West rival Denver. Oakland had never lost a Monday night home game, and Jeff Hostetler's touchdown run gave his team an early lead. But John Elway scrambled Oakland's defense, and his touchdown pass to Shannon Sharp helped Denver take a 16-7 lead.
End zone is going to be caught. Touchdown, Denver.
Once upon a time, the Raiders were the best comeback team in football, just like once upon a time defenders were taught never to arm tackle. Derek Fenner's catch-and-run touchdown and Hostetler's 42-yard scoring bomb to Tim Brown helped give Oakland a 21-16 lead.
Rolls into the end zone. Touchdown, Oakland.
While fans paid homage to Hostetler's heroics, the king of fourth-quarter comebacks coolly threw the 33rd game-winning pass of his career. Elway and the Broncos have pushed aside all adversaries to stand alone at 8-1 atop the AFC West.
Rocket giving to Allen, setting a wide left. He has to reverse his field, and he gets away for a moment. Comes to the middle of 30, 25, 40, breaks past 2 men at the 50, down to the 40, picking up a blocker, to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, touchdown Raiders!
You know, in that flashback with Marcus Allen, you may have caught a glimpse of number 28 from the Washington Redskins, Darrell Green. Now, that doesn't happen too often because he's one of the greatest cornerbacks that ever played the game and a future Hall of Famer. Darrell, welcome to the show.
Great to be on.
You know, 14 years. I mean, you've been here as long as President Lincoln sits over there on the mall, for God's sake. But you played under Joe Gibbs. You went to a couple Super Bowls. You got rings. Now you're here under Norv Turner. Are there any similarities between the two?
I think the similarities are more the human personalities. The football is still the same. You know, we're working hard. There's a strong commitment to excellence. But the individuals are very similar in just that they're compassionate people, people type of people, if you would. But again, the game is still the same. Just hard work, hard work, hard work.
You played against some of the great receivers, Michael Irvin of Dallas, Irving Fire now with the Eagles, and Jerry Rice of the 49ers.
Mike Quick, Roy Green. Get a guy, go back and look.
That's right. You played a bunch of them. Who is the best and who gives you the most trouble?
Well, a lot of players give you a lot of trouble because it's not just that this guy's fast or this guy can run great routes, but it's a combination. But to say who gives me the best or gives me the greatest trouble, who has the potential to give you the greatest trouble, is obviously the #1 man, and that's Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice is as fast as the fastest. You know, he's not the fastest, but he's as fast. He has the routes that can equal the greatest route runners, and he has the hands that equal the greatest catchers. So he's the best.
Sean Gilbert, you guys stole him from the Rams. He's defensive end.
Yeah.
What has he really meant to your defense this year?
He's meant a lot. He's meant more, even though he plays his game, but he's leading. This is a very young defensive line, probably a line that half the people around the country couldn't even name, and this guy has given them great leadership. Leadership.
The defense has really been a force, but you guys have to play well every Sunday for you to win. Is that right?
Yeah, we do. We're a no-name group. We're just a hard-working blue-collar group, and we don't do it pretty. We just have to do it by hard work. Everybody getting to the ball, everybody hustling, and we understand that. That's what it's going to take, and we've done that.
This year, RFK Stadium, they're going to close it down. You guys will be moving into a new stadium. Any great memories of that place?
Oh, wow. I have a lot of great memories. I got memories of losing games and winning games. My opening game, Tony Dorsett, everybody put me on the map as an NFL player. A lot of playoff games, Detroit, Atlanta, big Dallas games. The history there is just unbelievable, and it's going to be tough to leave it.
Thanks, Darrell. Stay healthy and good luck the rest of the way. Back to you, Lenny.
We've heard from Darrell Green, a couple of his teammates, and his head coach. Now it's time for us to talk about their upcoming game this week as they host Arizona.
Poor Arizona. They lost their chance when Kent Graham got hurt. Kent Graham is a future star in the National Football League. 2 years from now, everybody will know his name. I was watching film on him, and his ball on film, it went so fast you couldn't see the ball. Has great feet, can get away. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. It's a bye week for the Redskins. They don't even care who they're playing. This is an easy one.
We got to get rid of the coffee pot. Seriously.
We know who Kent Graham is.
Thank you very much. And Boomer Esiason may not even play in this one. He's hurt as well. But the key for the Washington Redskins, as always, can they get the running game going with Terry Allen? Last week, for the first time all season, held under 50 yards against the Buffalo Bills. But this week, he's going against a Cardinal defense, gave up almost 200 yards to Adrian Morrell and the Jets. I think Washington wins easily.
I think Washington wins as well, but November is a critical month for the Redskins to see if they are indeed a championship team, because after Arizona, they take on Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Dallas. So at the end of the month, we'll know if they're playing for home field advantage or just fighting for a playoff spot. Some people think a blowout loss like the Redskins suffered is easier to come back from than a heartbreaking narrow defeat. We'll see how Houston responds after last week's victory was snatched away.
All right, man. Seahawks are back, man. We're here. We're looking good. We're coming back. We're on the NFL comeback trail. First, we got Miami. Then we took out Tampa. And then San Diego. So we're there, man. Look out, NFL. Look out.
Oh, geez. Now let's start this thing off the right way. 1, 2, 3. Respect.
Last Sunday's game between Seattle and Houston was scheduled for 1 o'clock Pacific time, but didn't really start until 8 minutes remained in the fourth quarter, when the Oilers scored the game's first touchdown for a 16-9 lead.
Cris squeezes the ball, gets by everybody on the sideline. It's a good race. Cris Sanders to the 20, 15, 10-5, touchdown, 65 yards. Cris Sanders from Steve McNair.
Seattle's John Cris answered by hitting Joey Galloway with less than 4 minutes to go in the game.
And they're an extra point away from tying the game.
On the next possession, Houston drove from their 20-yard line to the Seahawks' 20. And with 16 seconds remaining, the game-winning field goal attempt left little room for optimism among the Kingdome crowd.
Field goal attempt that should win the ball game. Del Greco's kick is blocked, and the Seahawks recover it, and they're running down the left sideline.
Picking it up is McCrary. Laterals to Blackman. He may go. Blackman at the 30. Blackman at the 20. He's gone. Touchdown Seahawks. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. What an unbelievable, incredible, stupendous finish.
I can't believe that just happened.
You fight your rear ends off out there for 60 minutes. Things happen. It came down to one play. We make the play. We win the football game. That's all that matters. And I'll tell you what, good teams win like that, and you're a good football team. That's a heck of an effort.
After losing 3 of their last 4, the Vikings' hunger for a win knew no bounds. But Greg Hill's 100 yards and 2 touchdowns spoiled Minnesota's appetite.
Touchdown! Kansas City! Greg Hill!
Also finding the end zone was a back who keeps piling on the records to his already full plate.
Marcus Allen has now tied Walter Payton for the most rushing touchdowns in the history of the National Football League.
Marcus Allen's historic leap lifted Kansas City to 6-3. This week they'll battle first-place Green Bay, who last Sunday previewed a first-class tribute to Vince Lombardi. After 6 straight games with less than 100 yards, Barry Sanders has yet to put his stamp on the 1996 season, but his 152-yard performance against the Packers did just that.
To Barry Sanders, cut back over the middle to 15, breaks a tackle to the 10, Barry to the 5, Barry in, touchdown Lions! Holy mackerel, Barry Sanders breaking 2 or 3 tackles.
While Barry delivered on the ground, the Lions' airmail was canceled by 5 Packer sacks. Brett Favre at 4 cents. After their 4-0 start, the Colts thought their season was about to bloom into something special. Instead, Indianapolis's playoff hopes are slowly wilting. Despite playing against the AFC's 14th-ranked defense, Jim Harbaugh had his worst day as a Colt, getting sacked 6 times and throwing 4 interceptions.
San Diego shows blitz. Here it comes. Harbaugh throws. Tipped, intercepted again at the 39-yard line by San Diego. Back come the Chargers. Here is Terrence Shaw running right to the 30. Gets a block down to the 20. Streaking down the sidelines and is knocked down at the 3-yard line.
Backup quarterback Sean Salisbury, playing for the injured Stan Humphries, converted 4 Colt turnovers into 20 Charger points.
3rd down for San Diego. 3 wide receiver set. Salisbury to throw with a blitz coming. Throws. Caught by Charlie Jones at the 30. Down to the 20. Down the sidelines. Touchdown San Diego!
Salisbury sealed this win with a kiss as the Chargers ended their 3-game losing streak.
The Korean War Memorial, a stirring tribute to the American heroes who fought in that war, was dedicated in July of last year. And Gary, we're here in Washington talking about a different sort of hero. Gus Frerotte, their young quarterback, making next to nothing by NFL standards anyway, has really captured the hearts of the fans here.
And Chris, he made what has turned out to be a great decision. Before training camp, the Redskins offered him a 2-year contract for a total of $1.4 million. He turned it down, decided to play for the $196,000 minimum. Then he went and beat out Heath Schuler in training camp. Now he's in position to really cash in big time after the season. He's a restricted free agent, and he'll get a contract that'll average at least $3 million a year.
All right, but what does that mean for Schuler now?
Well, he's spending his last couple of months now as a Redskin through some complicated contract maneuverings after the season. He's expected to be a restricted free agent. The Redskins hope he brings back an offer that they won't match. They'll get a 1st and 3rd round pick. If that doesn't happen, they'll sign him and then try to trade him for a 1st round pick. They feel he's worth a 1st rounder because it's going to be a limited quarterback market. They feel he's still a very good player, and he's learned for 3 years under Norv Turner.
All right, let's talk about the defense now. A lot of people think they're so much improved because of the trade for Sean Gilbert. But Sean's a free agent at the end of this season. Can they keep him?
Well, it was a little bit of a gamble, people thought, on the Redskins' part to trade for a player and give up the 6th pick in the draft because he only had the 1 year left on his contract. But the Redskins' plan all along is to use the franchise move on Gilbert after the season, which will keep him a Redskin. After the season last year, the Redskins were determined to pick up an elite defensive tackle. They called about Chester McLaughlin, Cortez Kennedy, Eric Swan, and Gilbert. Gilbert was the only one who was available.
All right, we've already seen 2 coaching changes in the NFL. More to come?
Well, I think this could be the busiest offseason for coaching changes in a long time. There could be 9 or 10 changes after the season, and I think right at the top of the list, as usual, is Detroit's Wayne Fontes. The mandate before the season from the organization for the Lions to do better than they did last year, which means to get into the playoffs and win at least 1 playoff game. Right now, the Lions are 4-5. Fontes has been unable to build on that momentum from last season when they won their last 7 games. The Lions have a team with a lot of its key stars are in their prime. The only way to change the dynamics of that team is to change the coach.
How about Ty Detmer? Philadelphia has to be loving the job that he's doing.
They are, and he is 4-0 as a starter. And by playing 50% of the plays this year, his contract in 1997 goes from $700,000 to $1.3 million. But the expectation is if Detmer continues to play this well, he'll get a new contract next year anyhow.
All right, Gary, thank you very much.
Okay, Chris.
Well, the subject of this week's Where Are They Now? He was never the prettiest quarterback in the National Football League, but he always found a way to get the job done. Always a Washington favorite, quarterback Billy Kilmer.
In 1961, UCLA tailback Billy Kilmer was drafted in the 1st round by the 49ers. Sidelined by a near-fatal car accident in his 2nd season, Kilmer wasn't sure he would ever play football again.
The doctor came to me and said, well, you might lose your leg, and there's a possibility because the infection was so bad. And, you know, that had a profound effect on you when you're laying in the hospital for 3 months. You do a lot of thinking and you do a lot of soul searching, but anyway, I said, I'm not going to do this the rest of my life. I'm getting this leg well. I'm going to play, and that's what I did.
Compensating for his loss of speed, he moved from running back to quarterback. As the first quarterback for the expansion Saints, Kilmer became known as the quarterback with a wobbly pass. Despite his lack of finesse, Kilmer established himself with his guts and grit. Traded to Washington in '71, he was the heir apparent to the very popular Sonny Jurgensen.
Well, I wasn't really the crowd favorite. I don't have the same, you know, charisma that Sonny has on the field. And so fans, they wanted him to play. The more they booed, the more adrenaline would pump into me. And it kind of got me up, and I would just strike back.
Striking back, Kilmer would often sacrifice his body to attain a win. In '73 against the Giants and vying for a playoff berth, Kilmer once again showed what he was made of.
Jack Gregory put an elbow right between the bar and hit my nose, and blood's gushing out, you know, and it's getting all over my hands. And the trainer just butterflied the nose, and I ran back in. I called an in pattern to Roy Jefferson, and I hit him for the winning touchdown.
Kilmer played 18 seasons in the NFL, and in the annals of football would be remembered as one of the gutsiest to ever play the game. Today, this gutsy quarterback has mellowed. He resides in sunny Fort Lauderdale, Florida, with his second wife, Sandy. Having made a small fortune in Nevada real estate, Billy Kilmer now finds time to enjoy the outdoors. When it's activity he craves, Kilmer can be found on the golf course. With Billy's passion for golf and Sandy's love for travel, they attend over 20 tournaments a year. One very special tourney is the one Billy and his daughter Kathy run together. See, she was born with cerebral palsy.
She went through all those things and then come out of that and then be able to, graduate from high school. She was the homecoming queen of her junior college. The average person doesn't really know what strength really is.
Combining their strength, the Billy Kilmer Invitational is in its 10th year. The fundraising effort has made a difference.
And we've raised enough money now to fill a big gymnasium to house the weights and bicycles and all kinds of things to help with physical education of the handicapped student. And Kathy goes down there and she talks to them, she loves it, and they love her.
To Billy Kilmer, adversity is just a roadblock to the way of life. It's a positive outlook that enables him to persevere. Kathy Kilmer has inherited her dad's philosophy and proves that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Billy Kilmer, man, he was a tough individual, but a very, very nice guy, but he's still mad at you for intercepting him in the Super Bowl.
Lenny, he accuses me of breaking the defense to make that interception. You know something? He was right.
You never did pay attention.
Freelancer.
That's right. Earlier in this show, we picked several games. Nick, we know you like the Eagles over Buffalo, but there's a couple of other games we'd like your input on. One is Washington, Arizona. The other, San Francisco, Dallas.
Well, Washington over Arizona, that's an easy one. But Dallas, San Francisco, 2 years ago, Dallas learned a lesson. You do not leave Jerry Rice unattended. Deion Sanders will be in his hip pocket. That's why I like Dallas.
The leader last week in the pick segment.
Don't tell me.
Cris Collinsworth, he'll take him any way that he can get there. The thing is, we got to find a way for Jerry Glanville to get up there and have a good week because he's still on the bottom of the pile. Well, now it's time to pick the rest of the games. We all agree that Atlanta will defeat the St. Louis Rams. Last week, the Rams coach, Rich Brooks, said looked like his team quit. Jerry and I think Baltimore will defeat Jacksonville, but Chris and Nick like the Jags. Chicago lost Brian Cox, and it's almost impossible to win in Denver. We all like the Broncos. Houston will defeat the Saints in New Orleans, despite the Saints really improving defense. Minnesota will get Warren Moon back, but it will not be enough to beat Seattle, which is 3-1 since John Freeze took over for Rick Meyer. Jerry and I think the Giants will get to 500 with a road victory in Carolina, but Chris and Nick disagree. Oakland will rebound from a tough loss and defeat Tampa Bay. Wayne Fonts, I think he took our advice. He's giving that football to Barry Sanders more, but we still like San Diego to win. Now for the rest of the games in more detail. Jerry, we'll start with you. Green Bay at Kansas City.
How about Green Bay, Don Beebe? He steps right in, all that speed. I asked him one question. When did you know you were faster than everybody else? How old were you? He said, I was delivering newspapers and I was in the 7th grade. When I looked over my shoulder, the dogs couldn't catch me. Well, guess what? The dogs at Kansas City won't catch him either. I'm going with Green Bay.
I think the dogs did catch you.
Yes, right. Yeah, rabies.
If you stop the Kansas City running game, you're going to beat the Chiefs. And Reggie White, everybody talks about his ability to get after the quarterback. One of the best run stuffers in all of football. I like the Packers.
You know something? Kansas City's good news is they're playing at home. The bad news is James Hasty's been nursing a hamstring for a few games. And the other bad news, Pete Stoyanovich, their field goal kicker, missed his last 5 out of 7. Hey, Lenny, that's in good weather. The bad weather's coming. I like Green Bay.
Well, I'll tell you about Kansas City. Their defense and their secondary will stay up with the receivers of the Green Bay Packers. What they have to do is keep the ball away from Brett Favre and run with it. They got their running game in track last week against Minnesota. I think they'll do it again. Kansas City will win. Indianapolis at Miami.
planes going by all the time. It's in Washington, D.C. What is it?
The New York Jets.
That's right. Well, speaking of the Jets, you know, this is one football team with the Indianapolis Colts having so much trouble trying to get the ball in the end zone once they get down in the red zone. They do pretty well moving up and down the field. I think it's all a product of their lack of running game. Going to have that same problem again this week. I like Miami.
You know, Jim Harbaugh sacked 6 times last week in that game, but Junior Seau was on the other side of the ball, blitzing him. Miami doesn't have anyone close to a Junior Seau, but somehow they will get on track this week. I like the Miami Dolphins.
Well, the best thing for Harbaugh, he's in heaven here. The Dolphins secondary, they're terrible. 10 touchdown passes in the last 3 weeks. I got to go with Harbaugh and the Colts.
Well, the Colts have won 4 in a row over Miami, but Marino is back, and it's going to be down in Miami, a little hotter down there. I'm going to go with Miami. We got New England at the Jets.
You know, the Jets, good news this week. They get Hugh Douglas back, their best pass rusher. He was out with a broken ankle. He'll put some pressure on the quarterback. And they get Marvin Jones, the middle linebacker. Now, this is important for the Jets because Marvin Jones only plays 4 games a year, and this is one of them, so they better take advantage of that. But I still like New England.
Well, New England has skills. 6 skilled people touch that ball. They can put up points. They can score. I look at the Jets. They got 2 skilled guys, Adrian Morale and Keyshawn Johnson. 2 versus 6. I got to go with New England.
How about Ron Earhart, though? He's looking at Bill Parcells, his former mentor with the Giants, and he's saying, Parcells, what's happening with New England up there? Ron Earhart used to be the coordinator, probably doesn't even recognize that offense anymore. Drew Bledsoe really has it going. I like New England.
He has it going. Last 2 games, 792 yards passing. This is no contest. I like New England. Pittsburgh at Cincinnati, Jerry.
Hey, this big rivalry is dead. The Steelers have won 10 out of the last 11, and the Steelers got Pegram back. Scored twice last week. Steelers in an easy one.
Yeah, I like the Pittsburgh Steelers too, but there's bigger news in Cincinnati, and that's Scott Brumfield, who scared everybody with that spinal cord shock injury last week. Really, all of us here at HBO just want to wish you a speedy recovery.
Chris, I also like the Pittsburgh Steelers, but at this time I want to pay my condolences to the Ray Mansfield family. Ray was an offensive lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers in those great Super Bowl years, blocked for Franco and Rocky Blyer. I wish them the best.
You know, I like Pittsburgh as well. Pittsburgh has been sacked only 11 times so far. The Steelers will win. That's our show for this week. We'd like to thank the U.S. Park Service and the U.S. Park Police for their great hospitality this week. Remember, Inside the NFL premieres each Thursday evening at 11 p.m. If you miss any part of it, you can catch it again Fridays at 7 p.m., Saturdays 11 a.m. Those times are Eastern and Pacific. Join us again next week from our New York studios for HBO's Inside the NFL.